I did not go through pain and come out the other side. Instead, I lived in it and found within that pain the grace to survive and eventually grow. So what does it mean to me to say that Jesus is alive? Basically, it means that I can get out of bed in the morning because I know that God is faithful and He's loving and that He is with us every day. And He was with me even in the most difficult time of my life. Our daughter, Katie, died of a brain tumor when she was 26. In her third grade class at Sunday school here at Tab, Katie heard a clear presentation of the gospel that must have been really meaningful to her because she prayed with her teacher then and accepted Jesus into her heart. And with Katie, that was it. She fell in love with Him. And she just, ever after that, sought what He wanted for her life because she knew He was good and He was loving, and she knew that whatever He had for her was what she wanted to do. Katie was involved in Head Start at Neighborhood Ministries in Phoenix, Arizona. She also worked with the young moms, the young unmarried moms with children, and loved them and loved their kids, because a lot of their kids were involved in her program too. So there she was, doing what she felt God had called her to do, really in her element, serving the people that God had given her to be with and loving it and making a difference in people's lives when suddenly she became ill. So we went out to Phoenix to be with her, of course. And as we walked into that crowded hospital room, I'll never forget that morning, trying to get through all of her friends that were surrounding her bed. Katie looked up at us and said, "I'm so sorry you're going to have to go through this." Those were her first words to me. When we went to see her in the recovery room after her surgery, she looked up at us and she said, "Mom, God is good." And I patted her and I said, "That's nice," or something really. I don't know. But she grabbed me and she said, "Are you listening to me? God is good." So I really believe that Katie had an experience with God during her surgery that was amazing. God was faithful after Katie died. In several instances, several people would share experiences that they had had with God that assured them that she was free from pain and that she indeed was in heaven. And they always seemed to come at a time when I really needed to hear them. I've heard people say that there are times when all you can do is cry out to Jesus. Well, I've experienced times when you can't even do that. So what difference does it make to me that Jesus is alive? And how does that affect how I live my life? I think Katie said it best when she wrote in her blog a few months before she died. "How do I live my life knowing that my tumor could return at any time and that I will spend the rest of my life without all the innocent assumptions that I once had about my future?" I've been thinking about this question for days now, and I have to return to what I know and have seen to be true. Our God is faithful and loving. In the midst of the most difficult time of my life, He has made Himself the most evident to me. In response to the question of how to live my life now, the only answer that I know is to return to the people and places and activities that God has gifted to me. The only reason I can is that I know Jesus is alive and that He has and will sustain me.